Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope all of you are well, fine, safe inside your homes. So, today we will start with chapter 9 in history, that is the making of regional cultures. So, here we will continue with the Bengali as the growth of a regional language. Now, Bengali is derived from Sanskrit. That is because in the 3rd and the 4th centuries, Bengal developed commercial relations with the Magadha, that is now considered as Bihar, where Sanskrit was spoken. So, in the 4th century, Brahmins settled in Bengal and made Sanskrit influence stronger. So, in the 4th century, Brahmins had settled there in the Bengal and they had made the Sanskrit influence very, very stronger. And in the 7th century, the Chinese traveler Zhuang traveled in Bengal and he wrote his travel journals that Sanskrit and other related languages were spoken almost over the Bengal. So here the Bengal was considered as the growth of the regional language. In 1586, Akbar conquered Bengal and so Persian became the official, that is a written language, and Bengali became the regional spoken language. So with this, Persian became the official and Bengali became the regional spoken language. By the end of the 15th century, many dialects had become one language that we call Bengali, and it was spoken in the huge area that now we call it as West Bengal. So with the end of 15th century, many Bengali was spoken, and now that area is considered to be known as West Bengal. So early Bengali literature can be divided into two parts. One is based mostly on the Sanskrit and was composed between 15th and 18th centuries, and others were the auspicious poems which were translated from Sanskrit or the Bhakti literature. The other name, that is the Nath literature, folk tales, fairy tales, etc. It's the independent of Sanskrit and it was used orally. So this shows how Bengali is made from Sanskrit language, Persian language, and many other European and even the Indian tribal languages. So this was just the combination of the Bengali language. Now next we have is the topic of pirs and temples. So mosques were built there during the Mughal rule, and that led to the religious transformation in the region. So in the 16th century, people emigrated and the large numbers from the West Bengal, and they started farming in more fertile eastern plains. So they had left from there and they had started farming in more fertile eastern parts. The lives of these new immigrants and settlers were not easy. They were looking for peace. That is, their life was not easy. They were looking for peace. So people went to religious teachers, preachers and saints. They were believed to have some supernatural powers, and they all were known as pirs, that is Pirs. So all those people, that is the religious teachers, preachers and saints, they were believed to have some supernatural powers and they were known as pirs, that is Pirs. This word also included that Sufi saints, colonizers and deified soldiers, various Hindu and Buddhist deities, and even more animistic spirits. So rulers started building many temples in Bengal between the late 15th century to 19th century, and they showed some power and spirituality towards it. So many of these temples were built with the help of the social groups such as the Kolu and the Kansari. I repeat, they are called as Kolu, that is the oil pressers, and Kansari, that is the bell metal workers. Next we can talk about is their food habits. So generally people live in a region eat what is easily available to them. So whatever things that are easily available, they will obviously eat those. Bengal, for example, has hot and humid coastal areas. So people mostly eat rice and fish. That is their staple diet. Many examples in Bengali literature, sculpture and paintings tell us that fishing has always been important for the people of Bengal, and also their staple diet is fish and rice. So this was what was considered as the food habits during those time, where people used to eat what was easily available to them. For example, say terracotta plaques on the walls of temples and viharas, they show the scenes of fish being dressed and taken to the market in baskets. Though the religion of Brahmins did not allow them to eat fish, but still Brahmins in Bengal were allowed to eat certain varieties of fish. So that was all in it. Thank you. Have a good day.